Okay, imagine this for a second. What you do in that very first hour after you wake up could actually, well, profoundly impact whether you live vibrantly into your 90s, maybe even beyond.
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? And kind of startling, because for so many people, those first moments, they're unknowingly, well, sabotaging their long-term health before breakfast even hits the table.
Exactly. It's like setting the wrong program to the day, or maybe even for your whole lifespan.
That's a great way to put it. It really does seem like those first actions can program the body for health or for accelerated aging.
Right. And that's precisely what we're diving into today.
Right.
We're going to unpack 7, let's call them surprisingly powerful morning habits. These are things shared by people who consistently live well into their 90s.
Yeah, and these aren't just, generic wellness tips you hear everywhere. These feel more fundamental, practices backed by some pretty solid science now, and also by real-life stories, people thriving way longer than expected.
Absolutely. So our mission really is to give you a shortcut, to get you this crucial knowledge about optimizing your own health path. Hopefully you'll have some real aha moments and find things you can actually use, like tomorrow.
Definitely. And to make it really concrete, let's talk about Walter.
Walter's story is fantastic. Okay, so picture this. Walter's 65. He's looking around, seeing his friends start to struggle, heart problems, memory slipping, mobility issues.
The kind of stuff many people just sort of accept as, well, inevitable aging, right?
Exactly. But Walter today, he's 93, still living on his own, still drives his car.
Volunteers 3 times a week. It's incredible.
It really is. And the kicker, it wasn't his genes. His family history wasn't great for longevity. Most barely made it past 75.
Right. The huge difference for him started back when he was 65. He went to this health seminar, learned about these specific morning habits, and actually started doing them consistently.
And that consistency, it seems, was everything. Walter himself said these small changes totally transformed his health trajectory. While his friends were declining, he was getting stronger, more vital.
Yeah, he pointed right to his morning routine. Said something like, what I do in that first hour saved my life. Powerful stuff.
It really is. So ready to find out what those habits are, the ones that gave Walter such vitality?
Let's dive in. Habit number 1.
Okay, first up, immediate hydration. Simple, right? But think about it. After maybe 7-8 hours of sleep, no water, what's happening inside your body?
Well, your blood is literally getting thicker. It's something researchers are calling morning blood sludging. Sounds pretty unpleasant, actually.
It does. Sludging. Yikes. And this isn't just a minor thing.
Not at all. Research from top nephrologists, kidney specialists, and longevity folks at Harvard Medical School found that this overnight dehydration, it accelerates aging by a whopping 31%.
31%? Wow.
Oh. Well, Dr. Jessica Rothman, she's the director of renal health at Harvard, explains it really clearly. This thicker blood forces your heart to work much harder. Plus, it damages the tiny, delicate blood vessels in your brain and, crucially, your kidneys.
Okay, so it's this constant low-level strain and damage day after day.
Exactly. It accumulates. And Dr. Rothman says this accumulation can dramatically speed up the aging process.
Okay, that 31% is really sticking with me. How quickly can this become a problem? Does it show up in real people?
Oh, absolutely. Take Sylvia's story. She was 72, dealing with chronic kidney issues, feeling tired all the time, some memory lapses.
Which sounds pretty serious.
It was. Her doctors were actually starting to talk about dialysis.
Oh, wow.
But then she made one change, started drinking 16 ounces of water, that's about 2 glasses right when she woke up, before even getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Just 60 days later, her kidney function improved by 28%. 28%.
No way. Seriously.
Seriously. She told her doctor the only medicine she was taking was that morning water. He was apparently pretty astonished by the blood work.
I bet. So the action step for everyone listening.
It's super simple. Tonight, put a full glass of water on your nightstand. Room temperature water is best cold, can be a bit of a shock first thing.
Okay.
The second you open your eyes tomorrow morning, before your feet even hit the floor, drink that whole glass.
Just water, not coffee or tea.
Just water. Think of it as rehydrating your system after a long dry spell. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. Your organs are literally waiting for it.
Okay, habit 1, hydrate immediately. Got it. What's next?
Next up is exposure to natural morning light. Another one that seems simple, but has profound effects.
So how are people messing this up, just staying inside in dim light?
Pretty much. If you're not getting natural light within about 30 minutes of waking up, you're missing a really powerful, fundamental longevity trigger. You're kind of undermining your body's natural rhythm without even realizing it.
And there's science on this specific timing, within 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Studies from the National Institute on Aging, these are the experts on aging, show that getting morning sunlight within that first half hour boosts your melatonin production later in the day.
Melatonin, the sleep hormone.
Exactly, by a huge 73%. And melatonin isn't just for sleep, it's a major anti-aging hormone too. Dr. Andrew Peterson, who leads research on circadian health and aging, he explains it like this. That morning light sets off a precise chain reaction.
A cascade.
Yeah, a cascade of hormonal processes. It affects your sleep quality that night, sure, but also your metabolism, even your cognitive function for the whole next 24 hours.
Wow. Okay, so missing this trigger is bad.
It seems so. The research associates missing this regular morning light signal with a 37% higher risk of neurodegenerative diseases, think Alzheimer's, Parkinson's after age 70.
37%. That's really significant. Okay, tell me about someone who turned this around.
Benjamin's story is a great example. He was 75 and he'd suffered from chronic insomnia for decades. Tried basically everything.
A common struggle, unfortunately.
Very common. His doctor suggested something super simple. Just spend 10 minutes outside right after waking up. Didn't matter if it was sunny or cloudy.
Just get outdoors. What happened?
Within 2 weeks, his sleep dramatically improved. He was falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer, but that wasn't all.
What else?
His blood pressure dropped 15 points, and that afternoon energy slump he always got, gone, completely vanished.
Just from sitting outside for 10 minutes.
He said he just started having his morning coffee on the porch instead of inside. That was the only change.
Incredible. Okay, so the action plan for this one.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it. Get some natural sunlight within 30 minutes of waking tomorrow morning.
Even if it's cloudy.
Absolutely. Even on a gray day, outdoor light is way, way brighter, like 50 to 100 times brighter than typical indoor lighting. Your brain needs those specific wavelengths.
What if someone can't easily get outside? Mobility issues.
Good question. Just sitting by an open window helps. Let that natural light hit your face and eyes. And, in deep winter or really bad weather, a medical-grade light therapy lamp can supplement, but
Natural is best.
natural light is always superior if you can get it. And remember, this isn't just about sleep. It's about resetting your entire biological clock. It's about slowing aging at the cellular level.
Okay, so hydrate, then get light. What's habit number 3?
Gentle movement before breakfast. This one targets something else many people overlook.
Which is?
Staying totally still until after you've eaten. It sounds harmless, but it might actually be, a kind of fatal mistake for your joints long term.
Fatal mistake. That sounds dramatic. How?
It seems that being sedentary first thing in the morning can actually trigger inflammatory processes that speed up joint deterioration.
So moving before eating makes a difference.
A huge difference, according to research from rheumatologists at the Mayo Clinic. They found that doing some gentle morning movement actually reduces joint deterioration by up to 65% in seniors.
65%. That's massive. How does that work?
Dr. Lisa Monroe, she's chief of geriatric medicine there, explains that this early movement before you eat activates something called autophagy.
Autophagy. It's like cellular cleaning, right?
Exactly. It cleans up cellular debris, which is crucial for keeping joints healthy. And they've actually measured big differences in inflammatory markers, those signals of inflammation in the body, between seniors who move first versus those who eat first.
It sounds almost too simple for such a big effect. Like, just wiggle around a bit.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
But the impact can be profound. Look at Harriet's story.
Okay, tell me about Harriet.
Harriet was 68, and her arthritis was so bad she was actually scheduled for knee replacement surgery. Years of pain.
Oh, tough situation.
Yeah. But as a sort of last-ditch effort, her physical therapist suggested something really basic. Just 7 minutes of gentle movement right after waking up, before coffee, before anything.
7 minutes, okay, and?
3 months later, her pain had decreased so much that her surgeon canceled the operation. Canceled it.
You're kidding. That's incredible.
She apparently said, I thought my active days were over. Now I can play with my grandkids again. All from those few minutes of morning movement.
Wow. Okay, so what's the action here? What kind of movement?
So tomorrow morning, water first, then light if you can. But before any food or coffee, dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes to gentle joint lubricating movements.
Not like burpees or anything intense.
Definitely not. Think gentle. Things that feel good. Small circles with your ankles, then your knees, your hips, shoulders, wrists. Maybe stand up and do some gentle side-to-side swing, touch your toes, or just bend forward a little if that feels better.
So just waking things up gently.
Exactly. Continuous, gentle movement and wakes up the joints, the muscles. The key thing is this little window of opportunity seems to activate these longevity pathways that just stay dormant if you remain still until after breakfast.
Hydrate, light, gentle movement. Okay, habit 4.
Now, for something that might be, and I don't say this lightly, the single most powerful longevity practice that almost all these superagers share. Yet, most people completely ignore it.
Okay, intriguing. What is it?
The 30-second breathing practice.
Breathing. Just breathe.
And not just any breathing, a specific technique. The idea is that how you breathe first thing in the morning sets your body's stress response for the entire day. It can literally add or subtract years from your life over time.
That sounds like a huge claim for 30 seconds of breathing.
Well,
what's the evidence?
It's pretty compelling. Think about the blue zones, those places where people routinely live past 100. Researchers there documented centenarians practicing specific breathing patterns.
And they measured the effects.
Yes. These patterns were linked to reducing markers of cellular stress by up to 48%. Dr. Michael Cohen, who studies longevity in Sardinia, Italy, one of those blue zones he reports measuring significant differences. In things like inflammatory markers and cortisol levels, that's your main stress hormone. Big differences between those who did intentional morning breathing and those who didn't.
Okay. And how does it work? Why does breathing affect stress like that?
Dr. Cohen explains it seems to activate the vagus nerve. That's a major nerve connecting your brain to your body, heavily involved in the rest and digest system, the opposite of fight or flight.
Ah, so it calms the nervous system down.
Precisely. It basically signals to your body, hey, it's safe. You can allocate resources to repair and longevity, not just immediate survival.
That's fascinating. So what did they actually see people doing in Sardinia?
It's quite picturesque, actually. In these mountain villages, where men often live well into their late 90s, observers saw the elders, every morning before doing much else, just stand outside their homes, and they'd do a series of deep, rhythmic breaths.
Just standing outside breathing?
Yep. And when researchers measured things like their heart rate variability, which is a key sign of cardiovascular health and stress resilience.
Right, HRV.
Exactly. Their HRV and cortisol levels looked more like people decades younger. One 96-year-old shepherd put it really simply. He said, I breathe in the morning to prepare my body for a good day. If I skip this, I feel it by noon. My energy drops, my thinking clouds.
Wow. Okay, so what's the specific technique? The 30-second practice?
It's called the 4-7-8 breath. Really simple. Ideally, do it right after your water, maybe while you're getting that morning light.
Okay, 4, 7, 8. How does it go?
You inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4.
Okay.
Then you hold your breath gently for a count of 7.
Hold for 7.
And then you exhale completely through your mouth, making a gentle whoosh sound for a count of 8.
Exhale for 8. Got it. 4, 7, 8. And how many times?
So just repeat that cycle 3 or 4 times. That's it. Takes about 30 seconds, maybe a minute max.
30 seconds to potentially lower stress, inflammation, blood pressure.
Measurably so, according to the research. It's about intentionally activating those longevity pathways instead of letting the stress response run the show first thing.
Okay, hydrate, light, move, breathe. Powerful start. What's habit number 5?
Number 5 takes us to the breakfast table, or rather what should be on it. A protein and fiber-rich breakfast.
Ah, breakfast. You mentioned earlier that typical breakfast can be problematic. How so?
Well, think about what many people eat. Cereal, toast, pastries, juice. Often lots of refined carbs and sugar, right?
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Many of us are. The problem is these kinds of breakfasts can trigger big spikes in your blood sugar and insulin. And doing that day after day, first thing in the morning, is now understood to actively accelerate the aging process.
Okay, so it's the insulin spike that's the enemy here.
Largely, yes. Nutritional gerontologists, scientists studying nutrition and aging have looked closely at breakfast patterns in those long-lived populations we talked about.
And what did they find?
They found patterns that consistently reduce inflammatory markers by up to 53% compared to typical Western breakfasts. 53%. Dr. Valerie Richardson, she's a lead researcher at the Longevity Nutrition Institute, she explains that your first meal really sets the tone, metabolically speaking.
Sets the tone for the whole day.
Yeah. It influences your insulin sensitivity, your levels of microinflammation. Her research indicates that a breakfast with at least 25 grams of protein and about 8 grams of fiber helps steer your body towards cellular repair rather than cellular damage.
Cellular repair versus damage. That sounds critical. Can changing just breakfast really make that big a difference?
Let's look at Gerald's story. It's pretty compelling. He was 68, diagnosed with prediabetes. His inflammatory markers were climbing.
Not overweight, you said.
No, not particularly, but his doctor basically told him he was on track for full-blown diabetes within a couple of years.
Okay, serious situation. Did he go on meds?
He actually decided to try changing his diet first, working with a nutritionist, the main focus, transforming his breakfast. He swapped out his usual toast and coffee. For what?
For meals rich in protein and fiber. Think eggs with veggies or Greek yogurt with berries and nuts.
Okay, and what happened?
6 months later, his blood markers. Completely normalized, back in the healthy range, prediabetes, gone.
Just from changing breakfast.
That's what he emphasized. He said, the only thing I changed was breakfast. His doctor was apparently floored that diet alone could reverse things so effectively.
That's incredible. So what's the formula for us? What should we aim for?
Think about combining these three things. First, a high-quality protein source. That could be eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu, maybe a clean protein powder. Aim for around 25 grams.
Okay, protein first.
Second, fiber-rich foods. Berries are fantastic. Chia seeds, flax seeds, oats, maybe some non-starchy vegetables like spinach in your eggs. Aim for at least 8 grams of fiber.
Protein, fiber. What's third?
A source of healthy fat. Avocado, nuts, seeds, a drizzle of olive oil helps with satiety and hormone balance.
Got it. And what should we avoid? This is crucial. Try to avoid refined carbohydrates, white bread, pastries, sugary cereals, juice completely before 10 a.m. You want to keep those insulin spikes really low in the morning.
Okay, so it's not about adding more time, just swapping the foods.
Exactly. You're eating breakfast anyway. Just make choices that activate those longevity pathways instead of the inflammatory ones.
Makes sense. Okay, 5 down. What's habit number 6?
Habit 6 moves beyond food and drink. It's about morning social connection.
Social connection. We know that's important for well-being, but specifically in the morning.
Yes, and this might surprise you. Meaningful human connection, as it turns out, might be more powerful for extending your life than almost any supplement you can take. Loneliness and isolation. The research suggests they can be as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
15 cigarettes?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. But why the morning emphasis?
That's the really interesting part. The timing seems to matter almost as much as the connection itself. There's a landmark Harvard study. It's been running for 80 years now.
The Grant study.
That's the one. It found that morning social connections actually increase longevity more significantly than even quitting smoking or regular exercise did in their participants.
More than quitting smoking. That's hard to believe.
It's a stunning finding. Dr. Robert Miller, who led the latest phase, stated that the participants who had some kind of meaningful social contact before 10 a.m. had 29% lower all-cause mortality over the study period.
29% lower risk of dying from anything. Why? What's the theory?
The thinking is that morning interaction sets beneficial neurotransmitter patterns, think oxytocin, serotonin, that support your cardiovascular system, your immune function, and just your overall resilience throughout the entire day. It buffers stress right from the start.
Okay, that makes sense. Setting a positive tone. Do we see this in those long-lived communities too?
Absolutely. Nancy, an observer, described this fascinating pattern in Okinawa, Japan, another blue zone. Every morning before the day really got going, neighbors would just briefly gather, sometimes just for 5 minutes.
Just a quick check-in.
Exactly. Chatting, seeing how everyone was. A 97-year-old Okinawan woman explained it beautifully. She said something like, "If I don't speak to someone in the morning, my whole day feels wrong. We check on each other. It's how we've lived so long."
A real community ritual. And did they measure the biological effects?
Yes. When they compared her inflammatory markers to seniors who were more socially isolated, the difference was stark. She looked biologically decades younger in terms of inflammation levels.
Wow. Okay, so how can people listening incorporate this, especially if they live alone or have busy mornings?
Great question. Here are 3 concrete ideas. First, could you make a quick morning call? Just 3 minutes to a friend or family member counts.
Okay, quick call.
Second, if you live with others, partner, kids, roommates, could you create a small, meaningful check-in ritual? Not just passing ships in the night, but actually connecting for a moment before everyone rushes off.
Make it intentional.
Exactly. Third, if you live alone, could you establish a regular morning meetup? Maybe coffee with a neighbor once a week to start. Or join a morning walking group.
What if even those feel difficult?
Even a friendly exchange with the barista at the coffee shop or the person at the corner store. If it's a genuine, pleasant interaction, it activates some of those same beneficial biological pathways.
So any positive human connection helps.
It does. The key is making it a non-negotiable part of your morning, like hydration or breathing. Your body literally needs that connection to thrive. It's not optional for longevity.
Okay, 6 powerful habits. What's the final one, number 7?
The final habit gives us the mental edge. It's directed gratitude practice.
Gratitude. We hear a lot about that, but you're saying there's a specific way the longest-lived people do it.
Yes. This isn't just vague advice to be thankful. It's an intentional, focused practice that nearly all the vibrant 90-plus-year-olds seem to do every single morning without fail. And it seems to activate powerful longevity pathways in both the brain and the body.
Okay, so what does the science say about this directed gratitude?
It's quite fascinating. Neuroscientists at Yale University have found that specific morning gratitude practices can actually physically restructure the aging brain.
Restructure the brain, how?
Dr. Sarah Jenkins, who specializes in neuroplasticity in aging adults, explains that they can see changes on fMRI scans brain imaging. When seniors practice this directed gratitude consistently in the morning, there's increased activity in the prefrontal cortex.
That's the executive function part of the brain.
Exactly. Decision-making, emotional regulation, their brain activity patterns start looking more like those of much younger brains. And timing matters here too. She stresses the effect is significantly stronger when practiced within about an hour of waking.
Wow. And physically, does it affect the body too?
Yes, significantly. The same Yale research linked these practices to a reduction in cortisol, that stress hormone again, by 23%.
23% reduction in cortisol just from a gratitude practice.
Seems so, which, as we know, has knock-on effects for inflammation, immune function, everything.
Okay, this sounds powerful. Is there a story that illustrates this?
Patricia's story is a great example. She was 74, dealing with high blood pressure, hypertension that just wasn't responding well to her medications. Her cardiologist was getting quite concerned.
A worrying situation.
Very. Then she learned about this gratitude research and decided to try a very simple morning practice, specifically focusing gratitude on her own body and health.
Okay, directed towards her body. What happened?
Within 3 months, her blood pressure stabilized significantly, and her heart rate variability, that key marker of cardiovascular health we mentioned,
Right, HRV.
it improved by 31%. Her cardiologist was apparently quite surprised.
I imagine. Did she tell him what she was doing?
She did. She said, "My doctor asked what medication I'd changed. When I told him it was just my morning thinking pattern, he was skeptical until he saw the consistent readings over time."
Amazing. Okay, so what is the precise practice, the 2-minute exercise?
It's very simple. Right after your breathing exercise is a good time. Place a hand over your heart. Then, name 3 specific parts of your body that you are grateful for and why. Specificity is key here.
Examples.
Like, I'm grateful for my eyes that let me see my grandchildren's faces. Or, I'm grateful for my legs that still carry me where I need to go, even if they're a bit slower now. Or, I'm grateful for my heart that's been beating faithfully for me all these years.
So really connecting the gratitude to a specific function or experience related to that body part.
Exactly. Directing the gratitude towards your body, not just general circumstances. It seems this specific focus creates a measurable shift in your nervous system function. It's not magic, it's influencing your biology.
Hydrate, light, move, breathe, eat protein, fiber, connect, express gratitude. 7 habits.
Those are the 7. The morning habits that research and real-life stories suggest can genuinely transform your health after 60 and dramatically boost your odds of being one of those vibrant 90-plus-year-olds.
A lot to take in, but also incredibly hopeful, isn't it?
It really is. And the message isn't that you have to be perfect starting tomorrow.
Right. Don't get overwhelmed.
Exactly. Remember, Walter, he started with just 2 habits, then gradually added the others as they became routine. Even adopting just 3 of these can start creating significant positive changes.
The key is just starting. Starting tomorrow morning, not waiting for some mythical perfect time.
Absolutely. Because, as we've discussed, your morning routine is literally programming your body each day, either for youthfulness and repair or for aging and decline. These habits, they aren't just nice-to-haves or luxuries.
They seem more like essential practices.
Essential practices for anyone who doesn't just want to reach their 90s, but wants to arrive there with energy, with mental clarity, with purpose, with vitality.
So the final thought for everyone listening, It really comes down to a choice, doesn't it?
It does, a choice you make each morning.
Which of these 7 morning habits will you choose to implement tomorrow? Your future self, that vibrant 90-year-old version of you, is really counting on the decision you make right now.